Today is December 5th, 2015. Joining us on the porch at Black Creek Cafe and Treasures are Jen and Ken Snow and Gina Holsopple.
The best place for family. What are you waiting for? Where friendships run deeper. Come join us on the porch. So glad you're on the porch.
That's right, kids. You have put in the hard work. You've gone the long haul. It's been 2 weeks since our last episode of On the Porch Radio Hour, and you survived. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy that we have guests because I couldn't go another week without a show. But we weren't not having shows because we didn't have guests. We were just doing other things like Thanksgiving. And I'm very thankful that we still have a radio show because that means we still have guests and an audience. And I'm pretty pumped. And I'm really pumped that we're in Black Creek Cafe and Treasures. And what most people don't know, when you're walking down Main Street in Mexico and you refer to it as a different town, you get mobbed, you get beat up, and then you get dragged into Black Creek Cafe and Treasures. And that's how I got here this evening. And since I was here and all lumped up from Girl Scout Troop 702, we decided that instead of moving my mauled body back to the farm to record a show, they just brought the sound equipment here. So here I was, walking down Main Street in Mexico, getting ready for the big weekend because it's Christmas in Mexico, if you didn't know. Yeah, it's okay to cheer. That's exciting stuff. Yeah. And we're kicking it off. And I was kicking it off, just kind of, doing my thing, walking down the sidewalk. And I got to in front of the fire department building. And I was just, I was chilling out. And I got into a conversation with a guy who was like, geez, man, Mother Nature hasn't brought the snow. And I said, but sir, Mother Nature doesn't need to bring the snow because I'm bringing the snow, both of them, Ken and Jen Snow, to On the Porch Radio Hour. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, man, you got to come out to the farm in Palermo and check it out because we're going to be talking about the Oswego Players. And then somebody was like, what did you just say? And I said, we're going to be talking about the Oswego Players. They were like, do you know you're in Mexico right now? It's like, yes. They're like, we don't talk about other towns in Mexico. And I was like, listen, girls, I just wanted a couple boxes of cookies. You don't have to get all up in my stuff. And they were all like, don't you ever. And then out came the the gingerbread switchblades and the yeah, it was awful. It was awful. Yeah. And I had no idea. And I tried to run into the cooperative extension, but they were closed. And they were like, sorry, buddy, you got to go somewhere else. So the nearest place was the sidewalk because I didn't make it any farther than that. They just took me down. They tackled me like a pack of wild dogs. And I was like, give me 10 boxes of Samoas and I'll leave. I'll get out of town. And they weren't hearing it. And so finally, one of them spoke up and said, this isn't very much the Girl Scout way. And so then they helped me very graciously cross the street by dragging me across the street by my hair, and I came over, and then I called the Snows and I said, listen, it's a change of venue, come meet me in Mexico. So here we are, and I brought the Snows to Christmas in Mexico, and the Girl Scouts and I, we've all had a change of heart, and we're back. We're very good friends, and they're here for the show, and I'm so glad 702 stayed in the house. And we're here, yeah, Black Creek Cafe and Treasures. We also... Yeah, it's okay. You can clap. That's good. Yeah. We also have a musical guest. No stranger to On the Porch Radio Hour. Gina Holsopple, you're on the porch.
Wish I was a little younger, not a care in the world, just a little fear of thunder, proud to be a girl. Then I met a little flower. Then I met a little flower. She's a flower in the desert, scorched by the sun with dreams bigger than life. Now her day has come with just a little bit of water to help her survive. Just a little bit of water to keep her alive. Just a little bit of water is all that she needs. Just a little bit of water, water, water. Now I'm standing in the ocean, ready to take that leap. I always stood on dry ground, now I'm ready for the deep. I always climbed mountains when they said, stay right here. I always played the brave one. Now I need a little inspiration. I need a little inspiration from that flower in the desert, scorched by the sun with dreams bigger than life. Now her day has come. Just a little bit of water to help her survive. Just a little bit of water to keep her alive. Just a little bit of water is all that she needs. Just a little bit of water, water, water. Just a little bit of water to help us survive. Just a little bit of water to keep us alive. Just a little bit of water is all that we need. Just a little bit of water, water, water. Now I need a little inspiration. I need a little inspiration. I need a little inspiration.
Yeah. With a total combined 28 years, Jen and Ken Snow have been working with the Oswego Players in Oswego, which is located at the theater, the Francis Marion Brown, I always forget the M, the Francis Marion Brown Theater, which is the first brick building as you're entering the fort complex, I guess we would call it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And that building's been there a little bit longer than 15 years, right? Because that was built with the fort, I think.
Yeah, it was a big part of the fort, Army barracks, I believe.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Back in the day.
That's awesome. And it was converted into a theater.
In 63, 64, the Oswego Players acquired the space along with the Art Association and remodeled the entire building to be a arts complex.
Man, I didn't know it was. Wow, that's really cool. You learn something new every day. So do you guys know then where the theater was for, I'm trying to do math in my head and it's not working, but for the many years before it moved to the...
They bounced around to a lot of different places, churches, high school, wherever they could find an available stage. They also did a lot of work at the college.
Okay.
And it was actually a lot of college professors that were involved with the theater to have an outside place for them to actually still be involved in theater.
Yeah, sure.
And not just teaching.
Nice. Wow, that's really cool. And that's been happening. The Oswego Players have been, I guess, an organization since 1938, right? 77 years now.
Yes, we're one of the top 5 oldest continuous going theater groups, not for profit, in the United States.
Holy cow.
We're pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And only getting more and more awesome.
Absolutely,
Right?
Every year.
Yeah. So, Jen, you've been with the theater for 15 years.
Yes, I've been acting with the theater for 15 years. I've been a director for the Oswego Players for the last 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
9 years.
Yes.
Holy mackerel.
I work primarily with the children's shows.
Okay.
Pretty much any children's show that gets directed in that building in the last 9 years is something that I've directed. I don't know. I'm a school teacher, so I think, they kind of fell onto me, and it's great. I love it. The kids are awesome.
That's really cool. What grade or levels, what do you teach?
I'm a pre-K reading teacher in Camden, yeah.
That's cool. Pre-K reading, that's pretty specified, too.
Yeah.
Like very specific.
Yeah, there's not many, my positions, there's not many pre-K reading teachers out there, so
Yeah.
it's,
How fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great. 3,
And
4, 5-year-olds. It's
That's
awesome.
really neat. That's really neat. It would be fun to listen to books read by you, like audio books.
I've always wanted to do that. I've got that unique voice. I think I could do something like that.
Yeah, let's talk, because I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and I really want to record an audiobook too.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I have an hour commute. I listen to audiobooks every day.
Awesome.
So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, this is going to happen.
We're networking right now.
That's right. Yeah. This is part of the interview. It really is. We'll strike a deal later. So, what was the first show then that you acted in at
First show I ever acted
at the
in
Oswego
at the Oswego Players?
Yeah.
It was The Big Bad Wolf. It was something with the Big Bad Wolf.
Wasn't it Alice in Wonderland?
No, it was the Fairly Tales or something. I think
cool.
The Fairly Tales. Yeah, it was like a little one act show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the
Neat.
first thing I ever did.
Cool. And what was the
Yeah.
first show you directed?
First show I directed, Humpty Dumpty is Missing, right? Once Upon a Shoe and Humpty Dumpty is
It's
Missing.
Missing, yes.
It was 2 one-acts, and we put together and did, we did Once Upon a Shoe, which was like a Mother Goose one-act, and then we did like an intermission, and then we did like a Humpty Dumpty. It was all like a nursery rhyme thing.
Yeah.
Remember, it's kids.
That's right.
So, you get those cute little titles.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. And you acted in high school?
Yep, I was actually the secretary of my drama club when I was in high school, and I had the lead in our senior fall show. We did Stardust.
Oh, cool.
And that was a lot of fun, and so I've been acting since 99, 98, 99.
Okay.
I'm dating myself. I'm aging myself over here, but yes,
Wow.
all that time.
Yeah. Cool. And you were a graduate from what high school?
Oswego.
All right.
Oswego High School,
Local.
2002 graduate, yeah.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Good for you. You played football.
I was a cheerleader for the football
Oh,
team.
okay.
Very close. We were right next to him
I
on
could
the field.
sense it. Yeah, I could sense it. I could see you with like the headset calling plays and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
I know my stuff. Actually, it's
Yeah.
kind of funny because when I did cheer in high school, I knew nothing about football. And my dad would come to every game and he would like tell me if we were on offense or defense so that I knew what cheers to lead. I had no idea what was going on out in the field. So we've been a team since the beginning of
Yeah.
time. So it's perfect that we continue to work together on theater because, we've been a team ever since.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's really cool. Good for you, Dad. I could see myself doing that, like not really calling plays from the stands, but just being like,
This is
they're
what
on
we're
offense.
doing.
Yeah.
Offense. First and 10. Yeah, I got you, Dad.
Yeah,
So,
we'll do it
yes.
again.
He's
right?
always got my back.
Yes. Good for you. How long you've been doing things with the players for 13 years?
Yes.
Was that your first experience with theater?
Yes, it was.
Cool.
When I was in high school, if you were a jock, you didn't do theater because everything mixed
Right.
at the same season. So I didn't get involved until she was involved, and I got drawn into what I originally did was work on building sets.
Mm-hmm.
And I've continued doing that over the 13 years, but eventually they dragged me onto the stage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I've done a lot of shows also.
Yeah.
And
The first show, the second show, I don't remember which number show it was that Ruby did. Was it his first show that he did? Second show was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Yeah.
yes.
So it was cool to see you in that show and to like have you working with him. That was pretty neat.
And he was great. We need to get him back in our theater. He's been gone for a little while.
Yeah, he's been busy, which is pretty cool. Camera time, photo op. Okay, so now when you're getting ready to, well, you're not getting ready. You've been working with the best Christmas pageant ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have an awesome cast. We have, we have 29 people in the show.
Oh.
I've got 20 kids and I've got 9 adults. My youngest is 5, and I don't know how old my oldest adult is, but we're all over the spectrum. And we've been rehearsing since Halloween.
Okay.
And we go up next Friday, December 11th, so a week from today. And we have 2 weekends. We're going up the 11th, 12th, and 13th, and then we go back up on the 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Nice.
So 8 o'clock shows on Friday and Saturday, 2 o'clock matinees on Sunday. You can make reservations at the Oswego Players, 343-5138. If you want to call and get those reservations in, I know that we are filling up pretty fast. Normally we don't do 2 matinees, but with the kid shows, we try to put an extra Sunday show in there. We want people to come and see it. So you've got 6 opportunities to come and check it out.
Awesome.
So definitely try and get there.
And I know you might be a little biased, but is it the best Christmas pageant
It
ever?
is the best Christmas pageant ever.
Okay, yeah. I have no doubt. No doubt. Like kids swinging from the ceiling and good stuff like that.
I think the fire department might get called.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Oh,
it could happen.
yeah.
It could happen.
That's good news. So when that was put on the bill to be a show, did they say, hey, we want to do another kid show? And you said, we're doing the best Christmas pageant ever.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm like I said, I call myself the children's director for the Oswego Players because I am the one that does all the kid shows, and they said we want to do a Christmas show, and we want you to direct it, and we want it to be with kids. And so I looked at a couple of things, and I mean, this was just, I loved this book as a kid.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a movie, which I didn't even know until we started rehearsing, and one of my parents had mentioned it was a movie, which I've got to get my hands on because now I've got to see it.
Right.
But it was a great book when I was little, and so I thought, why not? And I mean, God, we've just been having so much fun, and I've just got such a talented group of kids. I mean, kids that I have not ever acted on stage before are on stage, and they're rocking it. I mean, they're just doing such a great job. And kids are awesome. They take directions so well, and they work so hard, and they want to do the best job that they can. So my kids are pretty awesome.
Yeah, good for you.
My adults are great too. Shout out to all the adults in my show too.
Yeah. Spoken like a true teacher. Love the kids, and then adults are cool too.
Are cool
yeah.
too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very well done. Hold on. I had a question. It was there. It was really good too. There was
Sorry,
a
I
thing.
was talking too long and rambled and you lost it.
that's what needs to happen. If the host is talking too much, then that's not a good interview. So you need to keep talking, but I have to give you fodder to talk. Anyway, we'll come back to it. Oh man, yeah, I don't even know.
It was good too, wasn't it?
Well,
you're gonna go home tonight and you're gonna send me a message.
Yep.
Jen, I just remembered.
Yep, here it is. Answer this.
And I'll have to.
And then I'll write it out.
Edit it in.
Yeah, and then I'll just take a photograph of the paper that I wrote your answer on, and we'll just put it on the slideshow.
This is what she said.
Yep. Here's the question.
I'll be
Here's the
waiting for
answer.
that message later.
All right. Be warned. It's gonna happen. All right, give us that information one more time. I'm going to read off that people can... Now, can people get tickets at the website, too?
Dad? I don't think our website is set up to order tickets.
They're getting close to that where you can actually buy tickets online, but
Okay.
I don't know
think
if
we're
they've
there
got
yet.
it completely there yet.
Okay.
But still check out our website.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous website.
And you will find this fabulous website at... Let me put on my announcer voice. www.oswegoplayers.org. And in case you are listening and you weren't here to see that, as soon as I read the website, there was a little bit of a wink there. Ting. There it is. Okay. So give us the skinny. People can get tickets at the theater.
Yep, you
At
can
the door.
you can get tickets at the theater at the door the night of the show, or you can call 343-5138 and make your reservations that way as well. Do you want to tell them the show nights?
Show nights are December 11th and 12th at 8 o'clock, and the 13th at 2 o'clock. And then the 18th and 19th at 8 o'clock, and the 20th is also at 2 o'clock.
And just to make it even better, our before the show and during intermission, we have Christmas carolers. So, that's going to be awesome. And they are the kids. I mean, and the kids sound fabulous. So, just a little bit of extra holiday cheer.
That's really
in
cool.
there.
That was actually my question.
That was your question?
Yeah.
I knew it. I read your mind.
I know.
Isn't it awesome that we can do that already?
I'm kind of second guessing myself. Maybe it wasn't my question because I really want to send you a message at 2 in the morning. But yeah, I was going to ask if you guys were doing anything like, if you were going to be like out caroling on street corners or anything.
We actually just did the Light Up Oswego. Sorry, Mexico. I'm talking about another town. We did they're glaring at me.
Yeah, those
We did the Light Up Oswego. They did the tree lighting and everything. And the YMCA, they do the Holiday Expo. So the kids walked around and passed out flyers there. And then we walked in the parade there. And we're supposed to walk in the Christmas parade with you guys tomorrow. But we can't because we have rehearsal. So... We're perfecting our craft. So,
Yes,
but
no doubt.
we wish you guys the best at the parade.
Awesome. And we wish you the best. Thanks so much for Jen and Ken Snow for being on the porch. It's been really great. And, I'll be cheering you on at the best Christmas pageant ever.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Tonight's show of On the Porch Radio Hour is brought to you by Molded Glass Canning Jars. Pickled cucumbers, eggs, beets, cabbage, or hot peppers. Whether it's cured meats, or how about taking those molded glass canning jars and using them as centerpieces or lights over the counter at your coffee shop. Maybe you use them for paperweights, drinking glasses. How about you serve your finest refreshments in molded glass canning jars? How about you take glass candlesticks, a little bit of glass epoxy, and fix those candlesticks to the bottom of that molded glass canning jar, and you've got yourself a large, sturdy wine glass. I have two myself. Not only can you do all of these things and more with your molded glass canning jars, but say you drop one while walking down Main Street in Mexico when you run into that most friendly of all Girl Scout troops. Number 702 is there, and you're shocked. And what happens when we're shocked and we're holding a jar of water? We drop the jar, and it smashes on the sidewalk. Don't fret. Just scoop up that molded glass canning jar, put it in a paper sack, and mail it here to us. And we'll use it for one of our other sponsors, Broken Glass. Ladies and gentlemen, they're versatile. They're wonderful. They're see-through, and they make really neat noise when you fill them at different levels with water and lightly tap them with spoons. Hand in all those disposable paper cups and convert your whole family and household to molded glass canning jars. A grand treat for anyone during the holidays. Fill it with flour, sugar, cocoa, whatever favorite dry ingredients you have for your cookies, and hand them out, because that's what we're for. Thank you. And enjoy On the Porch Radio Hour from Molded Glass Canning Jars. You're listening to On the Porch Radio Hour. We'll be back in a moment.
This is what's happening in central New York. Christmas in Mexico is this weekend. Events include an ugly sweater dash to raise money to fight childhood cancer at 3 p.m. today. There will also be live music, vendors, a parade, tree lighting, and an indoor farmers market. Visit Christmas in Mexico, New York on Facebook or call 315-806-0251 for more information. Gina Holsopple's CD release concert will be held at the Oswego Music Hall on Friday, December 11th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets may be purchased at Green Planet Grocery or at the Rivers End Bookstore in Oswego. Let me do that again. Tickets may be purchased at Green Planet Grocery, the Rivers End Bookstore, both in Oswego, or at the door. The Oswego Music Hall also welcomes Jacob Johnson to the national stage tonight at 7:30 p.m. Visit oswegomusichall.org for more information. The Oswego Players present the best Christmas pageant ever, directed by Jennifer Snow. The show opens December 11th and runs for 2 weekends. Visit oswegoplayers.org for more information or call 315-343-5138. Theater du Jour presents The 8 Reindeer Monologues on December 7th at Bistro 197 in Oswego and on December 10th at the Ice House in Mexico. Visit dujourcny.com for more information. Rarely Done Productions presents Star Wars, the musical, this weekend and next weekend at Jazz Central in Syracuse. Call 315-546-3224 or visit rarelydone.org for more information. The Art Association of Oswego is hosting an exhibit called God of Light, featuring artwork by the members of Truth Seekers, a local multi-denominational Christian art group. The God of Light show will continue until December 13. Regular gallery hours are from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays and from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. Call 315-216-6782 for more information. Friends of Oswego hosts Christmas caroling and Jingle Jam on December 23rd at 6 p.m. Groups will meet at Taste the World and then split off to go to assigned locations. An after party will be held at Bistro 197 with live music beginning at 7 p.m. The Collette Theater and Conference Center hosts special screenings of Home Alone tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. and December 12th at 6 p.m. To find out about other events at the theater or to purchase tickets, visit ColetteTheater.com or call 315-298-0007. The CNY Arts Center is holding auditions for Seussical Jr. on December 15th and 16th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Auditions are open to all youth ages 7 to 18. The Arts Center will also be hosting a New Year's Eve gala from 8 p.m. to midnight on December 31st. There will be live music from Gina Holsopple, ballroom dancing lessons, desserts, and a silent auction. For more information about these as well as other projects and events at the Arts Center in Fulton, visit cnyartcenter.com. The Wooden Apple Farmstead in Palermo hosts the 4th annual Hot Cocoa Contest on January 10th at 1 p.m. The winner will receive a t-shirt in the honor of having your cocoa recipe served at all Wooden Apple events in 2016. The Wooden Apple Farmstead is also the home of the Red Room Sessions, a time for songwriters, musicians, and anyone else who wants to build their musical skill and knowledge to get together. We share songs we are working on, bounce musical ideas off each other, and we usually have time to just play a little music. This is a supportive environment where all levels of songwriting and musical experience are welcome. The next session is January 31st at 6 p.m. For more information about Red Room Sessions, the Hot Cocoa Contest, or other events and projects, visit Wooden Apple Farmstead on Facebook or call 315-591-0711.
Once again, I want to welcome Gina Holsopple to On the Porch Radio Hour as a guest.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. What's the occasion? Why is it so important for you to be on the porch as a guest?
Well, I've spent 2015 recording one song a month, and as you know, it is now December, which means I've got 12 songs, and 12 songs is a pretty decent amount of tunes for an album. So that album is going to be released in 1 week, this coming Friday, December 11th. And that album will be available to be purchased, and we're going to have a big concert celebrating the release of that album. It'll be a ton of fun.
Yes, ma'am. It sure will. So are you telling our audience that you have recorded a song a month?
Yep. starting in January.
Does that mean then that you wrote a song a month?
Loosely. I was a couple of songs ahead when I started the project to give me a little cushion time. But I did try to write at least a song a month. Not all of those songs that I wrote in 2015 got put on the album, but a lot of them did.
So you wrote more than 12?
Yes, I did actually write more than 12.
Awesome. Do you find that having the Red Room sessions once a month is helpful in like stimulating your, or like pushing your writing ahead?
The Red Room sessions is actually an essential part of my writing process because I have people to be accountable to at the end of the month. And so if I get to the last week of the month and I haven't written anything, I force myself to sit down with my guitar or sit down with the piano and put something together. And, you know, not everybody has to bring something to the Red Room sessions, but it's a nice way for me to be accountable to get something, whether it's just a little piece, and some of those little pieces never turn into actual full-length songs, but sometimes I sit down and I enter that space and I write something that I would have never written had I not had kind of a deadline, you know, something, a goal, a place to have, a place to show other people that I'm continuing to work on my craft.
Yeah, which is really awesome, and it's really neat to be part of those sessions and to hear the feedback and to watch the songs kind of transfer and the metamorphosize, I think is the word I want to use. It's really neat.
And there's, you know, when I lived in New York City, there was a songwriter circle that I went to, not regularly enough, but I was able to be there a couple of times. And I know a lot of other folk musicians who really grew up going to that songwriter circle that was once a week. I think that one was once a week. Ours is just once a month. But that is how they honed their craft. They got together. They were listening to other people's music. They were getting feedback. That's how they did it. That's how they got good. You know, people like Suzanne Vega and names that are really that have gone to do some incredible things went to that songwriter circle. And so I think we too often we write in a vacuum. We sit in our own room, in our own space, and we write. But I think it's really important to allow other people in on that process. I think there's some creativity that can be tapped if we're willing to kind of open up our process to other people.
Yeah. Do you find that people have a really difficult time with that to start out with, or they have to kind of form their own process because it is such it's terrifying, personally intimate process?
It's such a personal, writing music is such a personal thing, and it's terrifying. We just had this conversation at the last Red Room sessions, but it's scary because it's like yourself. It's the space that it's you. It's yourself, and you put it out there, and you don't know what people are going to say because it's a space where people can say something about your writing.
Right.
But more often than not, somebody says, "Oh, did you think about this?" And I say, "Oh, no, I didn't think about that at all," and it changes everything, and it takes a song to a completely different level, which I think is really apparent in this album. This is the first album that has been released for me since the Red Room sessions have started, and I think the level of writing, the level of recording, the level of performance is far surpasses anything I've ever released, and I've released quite a few albums.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's been neat to watch that process. You have a song for us?
I do.
Yeah, which one? It's off the new album, yeah?
Yeah, everything I'm performing tonight is off the new album.
Good.
Which will be available next Friday, December 11th. I'm actually going to do a tune that I just put together a music video for. And so if you go on YouTube and you look up Gina Holsopple, if you need to know how to spell my name, get a flyer or ask somebody. But it's a tune that I asked a whole bunch of people for photos of them being real. So the first line of the song is "It's okay to be real." Mm-hmm. So that's what I put out. I said, send me any photo that you would call real. And I got a ton of photos, and they are awesome. And everything that you can imagine in terms of what is real to people. And so I put those together in a collage and then made it into a little music video that's pretty cool. So check that out on YouTube as well. And this tune is on the new album. It's called It's Okay. It's okay to be real. It's okay to heal. It's okay to get lost sometimes. Where you end up may have a better feel. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be strong. It's okay if your lonely heart wants to sing out a different song. 'Cause I need you, and I need me too. When I'm alone, I sing this song to remind me what I must do. La la la, la la la, la la la. I love you and I love me too. It's okay to grow. It's okay not to know. It's okay to show your heart to someone who needs to know. It's okay to leave. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to trust yourself to know what you believe. 'Cause I need you and I need me too. When I'm alone, I sing this song to remind me what I must do. La la la, la la la, la la la. I love you and I love me too. It's okay to be quiet. It's okay to be private. It's okay that you're lost this time in the middle of this night. 'Cause I need you and I need me too. When I'm alone, I sing this song to remind me what I must do. La la la, la la la, la la la. I love you and I love me too, and I love me too, and I love me too. La 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 la, la la la. Thanks.
One of my favorite stories about the about that video that you were just talking about that you made for that song is, you know, I like to look over your shoulder when you're working on that kind of stuff, and I found myself saying, "Who's that?" And the answer was, "I don't know." Well, who's that? I'm not sure. And it was really cool because, you know, I don't know. I was expecting that you would get a lot of pictures from people that you know, that you're friends with Facebook, or that you have some sort of a connection to, and you ended up getting a lot of photos from people that you didn't know, and I think that says a lot. I think that's really cool. It gives people a chance to have a voice and to do that.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was a neat project.
Yeah, I'm hoping those people will be at the CD opening, because then we can connect with them. That would be really cool. And so for those of you that sent in pictures that Gina doesn't know and you want to go to that CD opening, where are they going to buy tickets?
Well, you can buy tickets 4 different ways.
All right.
There are options. In Oswego, there is Green Planet Grocery and the River's End Bookstore, and they both are selling tickets for me. So you can go to either of those places. You can also call 315-591-0711 to reserve tickets. You can also get tickets at the door. So tickets are $10, general admission, $7 for students. The show is at 7:30, Friday evening, December 11th. The show is being sponsored by the Oswego Music Hall, and I'm very thankful that they are in the area and are doing such amazing things, both bringing national artists to their stage, as well as really reaching out and supporting local musicians. And this is one of the things that they're doing to do that, which has been a real blessing to this area, I think.
Yeah.
So they're located at 41 Lake Street, right on Lake Ontario, right next to Brightbeck Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. It's an awesome venue, really incredible sound system. It'll be a fantastic show.
Yeah. That's the McCroby building, right?
Yep, the McCroby building.
Okay, cool. So if you're getting tickets at the door, that's the door you go to, is the door at 41 Lake Street in Oswego. All right, hit us with another one.
All right. There's a little bit of fear. Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong key. Felt a little low. There's a little bit of fear, a little bit of danger every time we open up our doors. It's a wonder that we go, a wonder that we stay here, a wonder it's so hard to ask for more. Is this a moment or lifetime? I'm gonna start that over. Tried to start it in C and this is good. This is practice for next week. There's a little bit of fear, a little bit of danger every time we open up our doors. It's a wonder that we go, a wonder that we stay here, a wonder it's so hard to ask for more. Is this a moment or lifetime? I really can't say. And as the light pours in, I slowly melt away. Tiny little tears, tiny little teardrops underneath the fingertips of time. And who will really care in the moments when my breath stops underneath the small and simple sigh? Is this a moment or lifetime? I really can't say. Beneath those fingertips, I slowly melt away. What if the answers are hidden and never come clear? What if the call that came was just too hard to hear? What if we're really not alone? What if we're already home? Those tiny little fears, tiny little heartbreaks, filling up the moments of our lives. But underneath the scars that really only love makes a river that is filling us with light. Here in these moments and lifetimes that fill up these days, it's this love inside that carries me away. Is this a moment or lifetime? I really can't say. Beneath those fingertips, I slowly melt away. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gina. August 5th, 2002. Edgar and Edith Tracker were walking through the forest near their house, and they walked through the stand of old maple. And as they broke out through that stand, they entered into a newer growth area, and it was all these white birch trees. And as the sun was setting, it was hitting those birch trees in just a perfect way. And from the east was coming this big storm, giant black thunderclouds, and the contrast between that black and the white was gorgeous, and it threw them into this old movie. It was like they were walking through a silent movie, and the forest was quiet. All of the animals had hunkered down for the coming storm, and none of them were making any noise, and it was that perfect calm before the storm where the wind stops and none of the leaves were rustling, and it was still. And Edith decided that she was going to take the shortcut back to the house, and Edgar decided that he was going to keep walking. And as he was walking, he was thinking about the upcoming job that he had agreed to take. Edgar was home for a month or so as he was preparing for his next music tour. It was just him and his banjo this time, and he was thinking about taking his old beat-up suitcase that he would sometimes duct tape a couple of tambourines to and a couple of shakers so that when he stomped on the box it would jingle and shake a little bit and give him a little bit of extra percussion as he hammered on his banjo. But the gig he agreed to take was with a music class. There was a summer music class that was happening at the local college, but it was for 12 and 13-year-olds. And the music teacher that was running the class knew Edgar and knew that he was a really great musician, and he would travel and he would tell stories and he would sing songs and he would play his banjo. And she knew that, and she wanted him to come and be a guest teacher for a day. And when she called him on the phone and said, okay, here's what I've told my class. I've told them that they've got this professional musician coming in, and he's going to play the guitar for you, and he's going to show you the guitar, and he's going to take you through some of these steps, and I really want you guys to listen because he's been doing this, he's been performing. And she was just going on and on and on and telling Edgar all of this stuff, and he said, okay, to everything she said, okay, I'll do that, okay, I'll do that, okay, I'll do that, and he hung up the phone, and he could feel all of the blood leave his face, and he looked over at Edith, and she asked what the matter was, and he said, I just agreed to play the guitar in a music class and teach kids what I do on the guitar. And Edith said, oh, that's wonderful. You'll have such a great time. But I only play the banjo. And the realization hit. He had 4 days to learn how to play the guitar. He was definitely bringing his banjo and his beat-up suitcase and his duct tape and his tambourine. Probably some shakers, maybe a washboard. Definitely a couple pairs of spoons and a hat with a really large brim so he could put it over his eyes. So when he was telling the kids about all of these gigs that he's played with his guitar, they couldn't see that he was lying. But he was going to do it. He was going to learn how to play the guitar, even if it was just those simple chords that she had taught them. 4 chords, she said. That's all they'll know so far. Well, that's perfect. A chord a day. Do that. He could learn the chords, and he would probably even have time to practice switching from chord to chord as he played the guitar. When he walked into class, there he was, confidently holding his guitar and confidently holding his banjo and his suitcase under his arm. He walked in, he set everything down, he introduced himself, pulled his hat way down over his eyes, and he said, I've been playing the guitar for years. And he pulled up a chair, dropped his suitcase on the floor, and started stomping away. And as he was stomping away, he went into his performance voice, and he was just stomping, holding on to the guitar, but stomping on that suitcase. And he broke out into this story about black and white, and stripes, and stars, and sunsets, and burlap sacks. And he told this story in his storyteller voice about how he laid down on those burlap sacks, and he could smell the dust and the hay that was inside him, and then every once in a while he'd throw in 1 chord on the guitar. And every time he would hit that note, and from the silent class would come a every time. He was nailing it. He was a performer. E minor, D, and burlap sacks. Yes. And there he was, stomping, cord. And he thought by the time he got done with his story, their lungs were going to be so full that they will have expanded to 4 times the size that they should, because they weren't breathing out, they were only breathing in. Those audible gasps were sucking all of the oxygen out of the room, and he wasn't sure if it was the lying or the amount of energy he was putting into the lying, or that they were sucking all of the oxygen out of the room. But he was getting dizzy. But he just kept stomping away. And he looked down to make sure that when he was going to emphasize that one part of the story, that when he stomped down and hit the chord at the same time, that he was stomping directly onto the tambourine. And he looked down to see the tambourine, and the sun was coming through the window and was glinting off one of those little symbols on the tambourine, and everything was perfect. And it was like that night when he was standing in the woods and he was thinking about it, and there was stripes, and there was black, and there was thunder, and there was people gasping, and there was no oxygen in the air, and he was breathing, and he could feel himself passing out, and then he hit it. Boom, tambourine, stomp on the suitcase, and that one chord, and all the air came out of those students, and it blew him right out of his chair. And he was so happy. It all happened all at once. And then it was his turn. Not because he was excited, or because that chord really struck that note with him like it did with those students, but because he could finally breathe again. Once a 12 or 13-year-old inhales that much oxygen, their body can't absorb it all. So everything that came out was warm oxygen. And as we know, warmer things get absorbed quicker. So now he was having so much oxygen in his brain that everything was going 1,000,000 miles an hour. And he put his hat back up because he didn't need to worry about lying anymore. He was doing it. He was telling the truth. He was hitting those chords, and that was real. And then he missed one. But that was okay, because they didn't know. They were only listening to the story. They didn't really care about the guitar. So then he was done, and they clapped, and a couple of those kids stood up. You know, the little skinny girls that sit in the front row and hang on every word? They stood right up. They were so excited, and everybody was clapping. And then he put the guitar down, and they one big, "Aw." But then he picked up the banjo. And then he really gave it to him. Note after note after note, and every once in a while he'd hit that 5th half string that runs on the top of the neck, and they loved it. And then he showed them how to fingerpick on their guitars like he does on the banjo, and they didn't know, and it was awesome. So then they each took turns getting up and telling stories while they hit one chord on their guitar, and it was the greatest day any of them had ever had. And as they were all leaving the classroom, the one boy that sat in the back, who, like Edgar, hung his hair over his eyes. He didn't have a hat with a big brim, but his hair just hung over his eyes, and he was always looking at his shoe as if he was trying to will it to tie itself, or like he was staring at it so hard that he could count every individual speck of dirt that was worn into the canvas. And he looked up, and he said, "I've got straw and burlap sacks, and I'm going home, and I'm putting them together, and I'm taking a nap." And Edgar knew that he'd done it right. So when he got home, exhausted, slightly off from the missed oxygen, he set down all of his instruments, and he went out to his barn, and he took several handfuls of straw and stuffed them into his old burlap sacks. And he sat down on the floor, fluffed his burlap pillow, and set it right where the sunbeams were coming through the one window in the back of the barn. Those sunbeams came through, and they hit the floor right in the perfect spot. Not only was it warm, but when he put his head on the pillow, and all the dust came flying out of that hay, through the fibers in the burlap, and he could watch all of the dust particles dancing through those sunbeams coming through the window. And Edgar and those dust particles broke out into a beautiful chorus. "This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray In the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Well, you've done it again. You've made it through another episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. And out of everybody that's listening, out of everybody that's watching us on Concert Window or on our website, I want to give most of my thanks to Girl Scout Troop number 702. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us and sticking it through the whole episode. That is so cool, and I'm so glad you guys are here. Have a great year. Yeah, and we'll be looking for your boxes of cookies in the spring, yeah? In February. Holy mackerel, I got to start saving up. You got it. Thank you. Thanks for being here, too. And I want to thank everybody that's on Concert Window. And I want to thank everybody that is watching on our website and listening. And I really want to thank Melanie and Kate at Black Creek Cafe and Treasures and the baker. Tammy the baker. Thanks, Tammy. You're usually here in the mornings, aren't you? And then you like bake and get out of town. Isn't that what happens? Yeah. Oh. Well, thank you anyway. But I want to thank everybody, and a special thanks to Mexico for doing all of the cool things that you do as a whole, as a community. You do some really neat things. Christmas in Mexico is happening. You guys should check it out. And we'll see you next Thursday. But until then, peace to your journey.
On the Porch is a production of the Wood and Apple Farmstead, with host and writer Matthew Wood. Our musical director is Gina Holsopple. Our stage manager is Ray Monet. Our sound technician is Maxwell Wood. This week's show is recorded live at the Black Creek Cafe and Treasures in Mexico, New York. This week's guests are Jen and Ken Snow from Oswego Players and local musician Gina Holsopple. Find information about past shows, being on the porch, and much more online at ontheporch.weebly.com.